So just a small quick introduction. So right now I'm working at a company called TATA Digital. So I'm working on an app called TATA New. I'm not sure whether you guys are aware or not, but TATA New app is one of a kind of a super app where you can like order. I've been awarded the GD title for Flutter and Dart, so this is my 4th year. The way you have a GDG Jammu community, there is a community in GDG Jammu. So I'm from Ahmedabad, Gujarat, typical Viju, who knows the difference between common and Dougla. So there is a difference between common and Dougla, so both items are different, not the same. If you've been offered single item in the name common Dougla, make sure that you are getting fooled. Fine. So so the way you have a GDG Jammu, we have GDG Ahmedabad. So I'm also one of the co-organizers in GDG Ahmedabad since last 10 years. There is a one Twitter handle called Flutter_flex. This is I'm maintaining that account. I have created that account for myself to get all the updates around the what is happening in the Flutterverse. So if you are interested in Flutter, just go and follow it. You will get all the information. Whatever the new article in the world, anyone is writing, any new video is coming on YouTube regarding the Flutter. I'm trying to get everything and keep it updated over there. Apart from that, I'm community speaker, startup mentor. How many of you have got a chance to watch the Shark Tank? So in a Shark Tank like this season, that's why it's the high performance. Scalability. So scalability is like Flutter is everything in the Flutter is a widget. So if you want to add anything or remove anything, you can use it as a widget. Just plug it and plug out. That it will be very easy, and it has like very strong community. What does it mean by strong community? So for example, if I am developing an application, like a chat application, okay? So in chat application, I want to add authentication, like sign up and login. Sign up and login I will be doing with the Gmail. Now I want to add the Facebook sign in. For example, apart from Facebook, I want to add LinkedIn sign in maybe. So maybe I want to add login with the mobile number and OTP. So this everything, if it is not available, I can just post a question or search on Google, on Stack or so, I will get the response. And even though the response is not available, there are a lot of community-driven events are happening around the globe, which are on remote or in physics. You can just go and visit it, and you can ask the question. Even though you can ask the question on Twitter as well, or Reddit or anywhere, and you will get the answer. So that's what the strong community makes. So if there is a problem, you will get the solution almost within 24 hours. So that's what the Flutter offers. So if you want to see what exactly the Flutter is, just head over to flutter.dev. You will get all the information. Let me just show you how this website looks like. If you go to flutter.dev, it will look like this. So build apps for any screen. So you can see there are a lot of examples have been given. So it's fast, it's productive, it's flexible. Everything has been there. Trusted by many. Right? So these much of applications are actually using a Flutter. Like eBay, BMW, Alibaba, Dream11, we just discussed, Philips Hue. So if you have a smart bulb of widgets, and that application is actually written with the Flutter. And those who are PUBG fan, let me tell you, in a PUBG there is a whole community feature with the application itself where you can interact with your friends or your colleagues or anywhere. So that whole module has been now written as the Flutter. So that means if you have an Android or iOS app and you want a specific module in Flutter, you can also do that. So that's how the powerful the Flutter is. And the reason for it is because you don't require multiple developers. You just need a one Flutter developer who can do the things, and that can be deployed all other platforms. So that's the benefit. So what if I don't have Flutter skill set? Like for example, most of you folks are pretty new with the Flutter. So how you will start with the Flutter, or what are the ways you will start with? So Flutter has one of the best documentation available with all resources available from the community as well, and which includes blogs, video tutorials, free or paid courses and books, everything. So let me just show you. So if you just go to flutter.dev.
You took when you were building this app, and there was this, saying ki the bundle size is very high. When you're using Flutter, you have beautiful widgets in hand and all those state management, beat block or whatever it is. So how was your personal experience when you were, trying to? You must have reduced the bundle size in any way, like with the Tata new app. So like, how was the experience? What are the decisions?
Any resources. So if you don't have any resources and you are just starting up or like from scratch you are starting, then I will suggest go for a Flutter. But if you don't have a Flutter skill, like in your company everyone have a web skill with a really good React skill, and you want to build an app from the scratch. So I would rather suggesting Flutter. I will rather suggest go for the React Native, because your developers will help you much better to build an application. But again, React Native has its pros and cons. So there are a lot of. So now I will add the context of a second question, that what are the things you need to take care of while building a startup. So when you build your startup, there are a couple of things you need to take care of, which is like your budgeting, your resources, your planning, your go-to-market strategy, your consumer feedback. So those are the things also you need to take care of. Like for example, if you go back to our first example of my application, which is built in native. So my native app is like working smooth. I'm not getting any negative feedback. I'm like gaining my user, and I'm making money as well. Then in that case, changing a state is a really dangerous bet, I would say, because it is working, it is smoothly working. Don't change it. Now, in case your application is built on like very lower versions of Android, and now the new smartphones with the updated version are not able to update your application because it is not been built to targeting them. In that case, you should try a different framework based on what is your funds, what is your available skill set. Like if you don't have any skill set available, then I would probably suggest go and learn further and do it, because that will be very faster. But if you have some existing skill set and your go-to-market time is like very short, then I will suggest go with the whatever the skill set you have. But and then if you have the other, like if you have budget, if you have resources, if you have some time to go to the market, then I'll suggest go for this. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Hey, I'm audible. Hi, Dhrumil, how are you?
Dedicated website, how you can become Flutter developer. There is a big button called Get Started. You can just click on it. You are a beginner, you can start. You are intermediate, you are at advanced level. Everything is written over there. So if you just go to the Get Started, you can see on the left hand side which machine you have. Like one by one, set up an editor. Let me just zoom in for you. Write your first application. Everything is written there. It's like very pretty tool. For example, if you have an experience of Android, so how you will write the code if you are coming from Android background, if you are coming from Swift UI background, if you are coming from React Native background, Web, Xamarin, anything. You just click on it and it will show you that how you are writing the code in your Flutter, in your Android, and how you will write your code in Flutter. So a pretty decent documentation which will help you a lot. So that's the website, which is like flutter.dev.lan, and you can easily get it started. Apart from that, there are a couple of folks, just like me, there are a couple of GDs available in India who are creating a content on Flutter. You can follow Codepool, which is owned by the Pawan Kumar, another GD from Flutter. There is a Devin Joshi who writes a really good blog. The Pooja Bhomik has a really good channel and also writes the blogs. I don't write the blogs as such. I'm mostly do one-on-one or like in-person training or like in-person help. So for example, if you get stuck, you can just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'm like pretty active over there, and I can help you there. So that's the bonus part. Apart from this thing, like all the resources, there are these two tools are available where you can actually build an application just by drag and drop. So Flutterflow and Device, these two tools are available as no-code, low-code, or pro-code solution. Like for example, if you want to build an application and you don't know how to write the code, these are something like like a building block where For example, you want to create a screen, you want to put an image, you want to put text, you want to put a button, just drag and drop and it will help you to build your application. So make sure if you are interested, and like for example, if you are an entrepreneur or if you want to build something very quickly, very fast, and you don't have a skill, these four tools are like helping you. Just go and explore this. And one of the biggest top secret is TATA is also using the Flutter in their application. So just imagine the whole big application has been written with Flutter. You can understand how big the potential of the Flutter is. So if you are a tech entrepreneur, or you're planning to be, or if you are starting a professional career and you are more interested into the app development, whether it's a mobile or app or a web app, I'll highly recommend you just give it a shot to a Flutter and let me know whether you like it or not. And if you like it, then would love to help whenever you get stuck. And if not, then feel free to choose any other tech. Okay. What should be on user's problem? It can be solved using the tech. So when you think that I want to start a startup, rather than worrying about what tech I should use, how will deploy and everything, your main focus should be, okay, this is the problem which I want to solve. So your focus should be on that, and the tech should be a secondary. And the Flutter actually helps you to focus on your main user problem, so that you can help your users to fix that issues or problems, and you can make money from that. So how this actually works? So when you are building a startup or building an app, which is like your tech solution, what exactly the main building blocks are? The main building blocks are is like developing an application or MVP. When you develop any application, that UI should be attractive. Then only the user will come. Like you might have observed that when you open any government official website, that doesn't look attractive, right? And that's why you avoid using those websites and you just prefer go to like manual and get the things done. So the UI should be attractive. Also, as an entrepreneur, your main goal should be to reach out to maximum users, right? So the shareability, the accessibility should be very wide whenever you are building application. So that means your tech should not limiting you to reach out to the maximum users. Also, when you are starting up, you have like limited resources, limited funds, and all the things that we discussed, which is like developing application with beautiful UI, reaching out to maximum users. You want to maximize this with your limited funds or limited resources. Also, when in a startup or when you're building something, and as soon as you get a feedback or whether things are not working out the way you are expecting, you want to change it and you want to send the updates much faster. So those are the things when you plan to working out as an entrepreneur. These are the common 5 main building blocks which I can think of that everyone should do it. Correct. So how Flutter is helping that? So all this the problem have a common solution according to me, which is like the Flutter. So Flutter will help you to achieve all these things using the tech. How? So this is the official documentation, your official definition by the Flutter, which is like what exactly a Flutter is, why there are a lot of Flutter. So Flutter is an open source framework by Google for building beautiful, natively compiled, multi-platform application from a single code base. What does that mean? So I'll just take a pause and we'll stop my screen share and we'll have some conversation with the folks. So are you guys all from the engineering background? Yes? Okay. So do you know if you want to build an application for Android, what language or what technology you have to learn? Maybe Java? Okay. If you want to build a website, you have to learn JavaScript, HTML, CSS, right? Yeah. And if you want to build an iOS application, you have to learn Swift or Objective-C. Correct? In Android, you might need to learn the Kotlin. Now, if you want to build an application for your Windows, So you might be have to learn C#.net, correct? ASP.net, VB.net, something like this. So these are the problems. So how Flutter is helping is, so if you go back to again the definition, which is like Flutter is an open source framework by Google for building beautiful, natively compiled multi-platform applications from a single code base. That means if you run or if you write a code in Flutter, you can run on all the platforms. So you don't have to, learn Kotlin, you don't have to learn VB or ASP.NET, you don't have to learn JavaScript, you don't have to learn, any other tech stack. You just, write a code in Flutter and just make a build. It will be available on Android, iOS, web, Windows, Mac, Linux, and also on embedded. So that's the power and that's the benefit. So as an entrepreneur of a tech startup, I want you to build a solution. So I don't know whether my user is using my application on any mobile, whether it's an Android, iOS, whether it's a website or anything. I want to just solve this problem. Apart from that, the natively compiled ones, when you have such this multi operating system based cross-platform framework, they added their own overhead on it. So for example, what happens? So we have another example as in the Ionic or React Native or React, any other framework, which is like cross-platform framework to build an application. So what happens when you write your code in particular language, that code will get converted into respective platforms. Like for example, if I'm writing a code in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and I want to run an Android app using the React Native or Ionic framework. So what they do is they actually internally they convert their HTML, CSS, JavaScript inside the Android language, and then their Android language actually get executed. So what happens here? For example, if Android version will get updated, and if that converter from that React Native will not get updated, you will get stuck. So that will be a problem. So how Flutter is solving it? So Flutter is solving it using with the methodology of the gaming. So I hope you have run or you have enjoyed the game of Temple Run or Candy Crush or like maybe Subway Surfer, or like right now most of the people might be playing some new latest games, maybe PUBG or something similar to them, Free Fire, something like that. So if you have observed that thing, so the game, whenever you run a game, whether it's an Android or iOS, it looks simply the same. There's no difference. But if you check an application, like for example, if you take an example of a WhatsApp, so WhatsApp looks different on Android, WhatsApp looks different on iOS, correct? So what Flutter does is, Flutter actually whatever the code you write now, it directly converts into the native code. It's not like that it will get converted to Android iOS and then Android iOS will convert into the native and then it will, no, it directly runs into the native code, and that's why it's called as a natively compiled. I'll not go much into the details because I'm sure that that will be overwhelming for you. This is just to help you that the Flutter, whenever you write a code and you compile, it will just convert it into a natively compiled code with a multi-platform application which is a single code base. So what exactly the Flutter offers? So the Flutter offers single code base. So as we discussed, if I write a code, it will just run everywhere. The hot reload. So those who have worked on Android or iOS, they might be knowing this. So when you run a code, and if you want to make a change, like for example, I have created a one screen on Android, and now I want to change the background color, or maybe I want to change some button styling, or maybe some logic. And once I do this, I have to run the application again. And running an application again, it will take a lot of time. It takes almost 2, 3, 4, 5. Depends on your application size, depends on your machine, lot of things. Whether in Flutter or Reload, it just runs quickly. What happens? So Flutter uses a language called Dart. And that Dart language is easy to learn. That I'll show you. So what happens? So Dart has two different types of compilers, just in-time compiler and ahead of time compiler. So when your app is running, when you're developing and the app is running, when you make the changes, only the change that you have added or removed, that gets compiled and get injected into app. So you can see it directly at the time. You just have to refresh it. You just press Command S or Control S, and it will just get added into app. You don't have to restart or rebuilding the app again and again. So that will make you much more fast.
So my question was that when the Tata Neo app was launched, I installed that, and at the initial stage, its rating was very low, like it was like 3, and now it has improved to 4.3. So from the developer point of view, especially from your point of view, what were the problems and uh, how you improved that?
Sorry, come again. I didn't get exactly the first part. That 4.2, 4.3. What was that?
That was rating on Play Store.
Okay, so you are saying the rating has
The
improved.
app was slow at that time. I personally installed that app.
Mm-hmm.
There were many issues.
Correct.
So how the improvements have gone from a developer point of view?
Oh, okay. So, to answer your question, in case like when you installed the app last year, there were a lot of issues, and now the issues has been, like decreased somehow. So, how we are working on the issue? Is this the question or like something else? Hello. No, you are not audible. Sorry.
On a Flutter with like two different cloud platforms or two different databases. Can Flutter be handle those possibilities?
Flutter is actually a UI framework.